Hi, this is Shay Veronica, and the reason I'm having a conversation in the group, and the reason that the kids, the young people coming in now are different from before, I think it's because people now, kids now think that they have entered a world where they're free. There was a time before, the ancestors' time, where some, not all, but some realized that they were enslaved. The situation there was similar to what is now, because back then, yes, they did not receive a paycheck, but they saw the doctor if they were injured or sick. They had accommodations, not the best, but they had accommodations. They had food. Everything was free. There was 100% employment, 100% employment back then in those particular areas, the New World area. So they had a situation there where few of them, even within that situation, realized they were enslaved. Here, now, the young people do not realize that they live under the same conditions, but it's set up a little differently. Because if you are dependent on someone so you can eat, so you can have a house, you depend on that paycheck. It's the same situation then. They depended on their masters to eat, to have some place to live. And the promise back then was land and freedom. That was a promise back then. Land, freedom. What is the promise now? The promise is you become a millionaire or you become a follower. Most of you will become followers, fans. Most of you would become fans now, today. And you make one or two out of you a billionaire, a millionaire. That's what you're doing now. Okay, that's the playing field now. So what do you get in return? You're not getting land. You're not getting freedom because you think you can buy land and you think you're free. So what are you getting now? Okay, you're getting lipstick. You're getting clothing. You have a closet full of clothes. You have all colors lipstick. You have all different makeups. You have all different types of shoes. Things. So what part of this enslavement, what part was better than another part? Were the slaves back then, who some of them saw their enslavement and negotiated freedom and some land, were they better off, even the ones who stayed and had food, who were 100% employment, clothing, and they had accommodations? Was that better than now where people are living on the streets? Unemployment is really bad. They're not telling you, but unemployment is really, really bad. People do not want to work. Young people do not want to work. They want to be fans. Okay? Whereas in the past, people had gods. They created their gods. Now, they create fans to worship. They worship their fans. They worship their celebrities. They worship the people who sing, the sirens and the actors. Those are the gods now. So what is better? What is better? Who's better off? Who is better off? Were the slaves 100% employment? 100% employment. Were they better off than what we are seeing now, where people think they're free, but you depend on China, you depend on the United States, you depend on all those superpowers to do whatever you want to do. If you want to become a retailer, if you want to become whatever you want to do, you're dependent on these superpowers. Are you better off not feeling that you are enslaved when you are, than in a day when it was obvious to some? Because even back then, most people did not realize that there were slaves. They thought that there were, especially if you treated them properly, if they were treated nicely, they didn't see themselves as being slaves. That was wholesale slavery back then. But what generation is better off? At least the people from that generation came out with some land. They were able to cook. They were able to send their kids to college. They were able to educate themselves if they wanted to, even though it was the colonial master's education. But they were able to do things because they created you. But where are you going in your evolution? Where is this generation going in their evolution if they don't want to work? They don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They're not having kids. That's the best thing about it. Thank goodness. They're not having as many kids as back in the past. So, but where are you going? What road are you taking? The old folks that are still here and are watching, where are you taking us? How are you making us proud? Just one or two of you have stood up. Just one or two of you. And the ones who stood up, like the Elon Musk and those people, they were given that power. You cannot acquire that kind of power. You cannot acquire that kind of wealth. It's given to you and you take it. You take it. So there are few that were bestowed. They were bestowed riches and fame. But for the most of you, where are you taking the world? Where are you taking the world if you're just a follower of someone who can sing, someone who can dance, someone who can act? Where are you taking the world? The world is not getting any better. From my vantage point, the world is not getting any better. Our generations now have not learned from the past. Slavery is wholesale now, but not everyone is employed. It was wholesale, but 100% employment back then. Now, there is still wholesale slavery, but not all are employed, and not all are looking to the gods of the heavens. They have made ordinary people their gods, and we're not going anywhere. The earth is not getting any better. Sherry Veronica.